unpredictable.
Ain't that the truth?
Let us start our journey of Sergey is also here. So we started uh, last 3 weeks. I think we are understanding the journey of that seeker to the mindfulness. It is the sadhana panchakam, the text. So we have the 5 verses and the 40 steps. And the first step we have covered last week, that we need to follow certain principles, and the simple way that you listen it again and again, what we have done last week during the week, and pick up the principle. And once you understand the principle, stop listening and ask yourself, is this the principle? How to apply this into life? Can I live into that state? And so, in sadhaka, in this journey, we will cover all the, hopefully, we will cover all the 40 steps or 40 principles. Now, how the second principle is linked to the first one. Example, I learned driving. So I have a rules of driving, the skill set of driving the car and the rules on the road. I know it, but I have a choice. My mind goes crazy. Highway is empty. So let me do rash driving. Let me speed up. I look all around. I see there is no cops. So let me drive faster. Don't we do that in our life? Eating, talking. We start talking with some sense, and then that talking becomes a nonsense, it becomes a gossip. And the gossip creates a differences. I have two couple who became very good friends in New Jersey. So one couple staunch Republican, the other is very deep Democrat. And they both were invited for a dinner. Now you can think of it, what is going to happen. So the husbands, both the husbands, they started talking of both the Democrats and Republicans, and ultimately they landed up fighting against each other. Same thing happens in our daily life, which we do not notice, which has become our habitual mechanical response. So, what is that mechanical and habitual response? It is an action. So, the second principle is how to regulate all our actions that we perform daily. Yesterday, I had one session from Europe, and he was saying, sir, I agree with you that I have to listen to your talk, and followed by, I should contemplate and reflect on it, but I don't have time. I'm busy in my business. So, business is a particular activity. I have to perform certain action, which is sometime are targeted, sometime are focused, sometime needs to be completed in time. And then there is a normal complaint that I don't have time. What should I do? Our master has never left any field of our life where you cannot enter into the state of mindfulness. So I'm breaking today's principle into two parts. The action part. When we perform all our actions as a play, fun, joy, It purifies the mind. We gain the natural focus, and the mind, in the midst of doing your activities in the business, lives in the state of mindfulness. This is what we are going to understand. Do you agree that, whenever we perform certain activities, especially professional and business activities, we find this is business and this is meditation? So either you say both are business. Don't. So what is the secret behind it? How to understand that? So the first part I'm covering. Normally, this sadhana panchakam, the 5 verses, are covered almost 5 hours every day for about 3 months. But I'm trying to cover it by compressing these principles. You agree that whatever the action that we perform, we normally forget the state of mindfulness. How to bring it back? How to bring it back so that this mindfulness succeeds. The entire life enters into the state of mindfulness. You do all your business activities in the state of mindfulness. You perform all the actions in relationship in the state of meditation and mindfulness. Now pay attention. I will just brief. Every action is driven by right knowledge and the right thinking, or some knowledge and some thinking. When every action is driven by the right knowledge and the right thinking, it purifies the mind and intellect, because the right knowledge, right motive follows the right action. Are you getting it? The action in daily life becomes play and a fun. Every action is done as if actor is playing his role, coordinating. Let us understand why. See that. I feel an urge I'm thirsty. So there is a demand. That demand is a desire. Desire, I know that desire for thirst to be quenched by the water. So I have to take an action. So I stand up, go to the kitchen, take a glass of water, and the action is fulfilled. See that? Every action. What happens? Every action has a motive. And behind the motive, what is there? Desire. What is the behind the desire? There is a knowledge. So if the knowledge is right, desire will be right, motive will be right, so action will be right. Action will be right. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Is it not difficult to understand? Yeah. So every action has a motive. Behind that motive, mind triggers with a desire, and behind that desire, there is a knowledge. So if the knowledge is right, follows the right desire. What is the knowledge? When I'm driving, there is no one on the highway, 202, maybe in the midnight. What is the right desire? And what is the wrong desire? Oh, there is no one. Even the cop is not there. So let me do the rash driving. Let me speed up. Who cares? Are you understanding? There are actions in this category labeled as duties and responsibilities. Now consider there are actions like bathing, going to the restroom, clearing your bowels, eating, cooking your food, talking, writing, special activities related to the profession, social and family activities. There are all kinds of action. Now take one action. You are hungry, you have taken your lunch, then you don't tell everyone that now don't disturb me. I'm going to digest my food. You don't say it. They are also actions. Are you understanding? Right? So these actions do not carried away by the ego. So there is no question of wrong motivation. You make a choice of the food, you eat it, and you don't say, no, don't disturb me, I'm going to digest more my food. The second part of the actions is, what is that? Involuntary. So there are two things that we should remember all the time. For every action, there is a motive and there is a desire. And the second part is that there is an ego of performing the action. I-ness is labeled, I-ness is associated. Animals do not worry about these actions. My eating the food is not concerned with my ego. You see that? Now let the belly, stomach digest the food. Go slowly, I'm going slowly. Every karma starts from the knowledge, motive for seeking desired result. Are you listening carefully? So, desire for results and strengthening of a false ego destroys the beauty of a karma. And I'm in the next few lines, I'm summarizing this and then I will open it again. Take an example. I'm performing an action of a teaching. Now think of a different motivations. Let me convince all the guys. Let everyone should move into peace. That is not my job. Peace is your essential nature. If you know, if you understand, if you practice, you will get it. So why should I keep my motivation focused on everyone? And what is going to happen if I keep that motivation? After the practice, if I ask you to share the experiences, and Sergey says, no, I don't get it. This is a crazy meditation. So I am offended. I have a problem then. See the motivation of an action. Desire, ego. What is the second option? What is the second option? Second option is that I am acting as a teacher. So I focus on the action part, the role I was given. Let me explain the principle. Let me explain the principle. Let me give you the practice. Let my mind remain focused on the action, neither on my ego nor on you guys. Only action. That is why I said action part, eating. And then you never say, do you say that, oh, I have taken a food, now let me digest the food, don't disturb me. It happens on its own. Again, going little deeper, all our actions, I have told you, are guided by the desire for fruits of an action and dictated by I-ness. That builds our false ego. As long as desire for fruits and ego dictates our actions, we will continue to experience fatigue, stress, anxiety, suffering, and host of all the other crazy stuff. Can I give you another example? The dear and the near ones is getting married, and you are spending days and nights for preparation, organizing all the activities. Do you feel tired? Ego is not there. Ego is not there. And what is the desire for action? Ah, let my friend, let my son, let my daughter enjoy that event. Are you understanding? So, in some of the activities, sometime friend calls you. There are two types of friend. The one friend that you trust and you say, okay, I will do everything. So the friend calls you and say, hey, get ready. I'm coming within half an hour and we'll go to the mall. Then we'll have our lunch. So now that friend is in the first category. You love, you care, you say, I'm okay. And the second friend calls you. That your mind like, but it is not 100%. Sometimes you get bored. No, no, I'm feeling very sick. I have a lot of, I have extreme headache. So better you go and let us do it next time. Action. I'm talking of action. Another example, when a Hollywood actor performs a role of a criminal and a real person performs a role of a criminal. Real criminal kills a person and a Hollywood actor performs the role of a criminal. What is going on in his mind? What is going on in the mind of these two people? The criminal, the real criminal, forgets himself. Is out of a strong ego. He wants to get his things done. He never thinks of the consequences later. And the Hollywood actor goes to the director and says, everything is okay? Did I kill that guy? Film. When a Hollywood actor performs a role of a criminal, he receives the right knowledge, plot, people associated, and the results. But he performs the role, he plays the role without any binding desire for fruits or linking it to the ego. Still outside. Both appears both appear same outside. A real criminal also kills the person. They also look real. And the Hollywood actor also looks real. The secret is revealed by our great masters in Karma Yoga. Now I'm bringing the Karma Yoga and the law of karma. I told you the law of karma doesn't apply to animals. Why? They don't have an ego. I have done it. That is why I gave you an example. That is why I gave you an example that animals, one example what I gave you, I've taken my lunch and then I never say that, oh, don't disturb me. Let me digest the food. There is no me. The digestion takes place on its own. Can the action can the action happen without my ego? And I can tell you the mind will be purified. What should we do? What should we do? So there is a Gita in Gita. Lara was talking about the Gita. So in Gita, Krishna asks us to understand there is a trio. What is the trio? Ignorance, desire, and action. Ignorance, desire, and karma. If any karma springs in my life because of ignorance, there will be a wrong desire and motivation. The action will be wrong. It gives us a deep insight into it. How to apply this principle of karma in our daily activities, including personal, professional, social life, to keep the mind in a purified state, to keep the mind free from that ego, so that what is going to happen? You have performed, you have worked for 10 hours today. The mind is totally clear and purified. It will inspire you to meditate. One. Second, it will also help you to live into that state of the mindfulness during your activities throughout the day. Little deeper, but I'm just picking up those simple things. What are the three part? Avidya, ignorance. Second is kama. Kama means desire. Third is karma. Now understand. Simple way the law of karma. The cycle of ignorance, desire, action. So I perform one action, and action again takes me to ignorance. Ignorance takes me to desire. Desire takes me to an action, and that continues days after days. This creates lot of impressions in my subconscious and unconscious mind. This is known as the law of karma. If you break the law of karma, you are free. And you can easily break this karma. Whatever action we perform, now see the beauty. How to get out of the desire for the fruits of action? To make your mind understand, can you tell me the action is always in the present? Is the desire for fruits of an action is always also in the present? It is always in the future. So why to worry? Why not pay? Why not have a total focus on the action that you are doing it? Let the action be guided by the right desire, and let the right desire comes from the right knowledge. So you totally, your focus, your awareness, your attention in performing that action, putting your 100%, not to be distracted by the desire for the fruits of an action. Are you getting it? As a Hollywood actor, if I perform my role, I will be rewarded. For every action, there is a reward. For every action, there is a merit and there is a demerit. That is the second part, and we will take up in the next week. Are you getting it? One thing, what is the action is always in the present. Fruit is always the desire. The result is always in the future. Why should I distract my mind and make my mind crazy, thinking constantly about the fruits of that action while performing a particular action will cause a lot of problems. I had a wonderful friend. Now he is enjoying in India when we were hardly 23, 24. He was an engineer. He is still an engineer. And we used to walk every day. So in the evening, one day he said, I have fixed 25 criteria about a girl to get married. I'm summarizing. I'm anticipating the fruits. I'm summarizing. It's a long story. So he got married and he was immigrated to Holland. After 6 months, his wife threw him out of the house. He came back to India, totally frustrated. I'm not saying don't fix those criteria. This is one example. Whenever we perform an action, action should have a right motive. The right motive should have a right desire. Right desire should have a right knowledge. And simply then perform the action, complete the action, and forget it. Are you getting it? From today onward, going to the office, keep in your mind the right knowledge, right desire, right motive. Forget the rest. perform your right action. Law of karma means I have of ignorance, desire, karma. It's the goal of meditation. One hour of meditation daily. 23 hours of wrong actions with a wrong desire, wrong motive, with strengthening my ego. On one side of a balance, 1 hour of meditation, 23 hours of actions done unconsciously. What is the result? You see, the result is here. The karma is here. And then you say to come to me, oh, it's not helping me. Why it will help? Why it will help? When we redefine the karma, the motives in the mind, and intent for doing any action in daily life, it will purify the mind. It will purify the mind. You start it. When we do not know the principle, we keep generating and accumulating impressions that causes suffering in my personal, professional, and social. Those impressions. And those impressions results in the law of karma. Meditation will never succeed if you don't break this law of karma. And the last thing that I'm talking, then we will go for meditation. My master used to say that, say for example, in today's 24 hours, maybe 10 hours of my active life, or in the waking state, 1 hour I did meditation, and another 10 to 12 hours I'm guided by my mind with a motivation which is not clear. I'm performing an action with a wrong knowledge or in the field of the ignorance. It in the today's itself, whatever the impressions I have accumulated will become 25% more the next day. Third day, add another 25%. Fourth day, add another 25% more. So how do I know it? There are many ways to know it. In any action in my life, whether it is involves body, mind, and intellect, I do it in a playful mood. I enjoy performing an action. It does not bring undue fatigue, reaction, anxiety, duality, and a conflict in life. Within a week of the practice, you will experience that as if you are just playing your role. So that is the last one. When you play your role, it does not accumulate any impression. It does not strengthen your ego. Play your role is not making fun of others. Playing your role is bypassing that ego in the mind. Focus on the action part. Whatever you are doing, perform your action, putting your focus on the action 100% without even thinking of the motive. You have already planned. Say, for example, Stephen and David, you have already planned in your business. You have already projected the profit and the revenue and a long list. So that is already done. You are not losing that part. But while performing an action, your focus is on the action, on the karma first. And you have to take away your mind from that ego so you don't accumulate any karma. You don't accumulate any impression, and you will discover that you live with the same tremendous energy. After a few years of learning, it was very tough in the beginning, for me to understand this, the law of karma, I have taken the first part. In the second part, I'll take up what are the different types of karma. So that will make the things clear. There are many ways you can classify these karmas. So you know that these are the karmas, it brings merits, it brings demerits. There are certain karmas, if you don't do it, it brings demerit. It doesn't give you merit. But what is that? The highest merit you get, it purifies the mind. You all know it, and I'm giving a name to that. That classification later, next week we'll do. What is that activity? Serving others. If you don't do it with that intent, it brings the demerit. But if you do it, it doesn't bring any merit. You're paying someone, you're helping, you're donating some money. You don't get a reward. It doesn't bring any merit. So we'll deeply understand why this law of karma is very important in our daily life and living. So when you classify, the first thing to understand this week, get out of you have projected everything, you have a desire. But now at the time of performing the action, fruits of that action is not there in the mind, because action is in the present and the fruit is in the future. Second part, don't engage and increase and do that activity with an idea of an ego. And once I understood that, I have given the programs for 10 hours while sitting in the same pose. It changes the entire dimension of your life. And the same thing is going to happen in the business also. Business will become a play. I know you have a lot of questions that we will take up next week. Close your eyes. Let us do our meditation part. Close your eyes. First stage. Are you aware of the first stage? Do you remember the steadiness in the body and the mind is facing inside? You are aware of the body and the mind is facing inside. Let me go a little deeper. In the first stage, the first step, I said steadiness in the body comes naturally when the mind is facing within. Does it not happen? You are not aware of the body in deep sleep. So you remain aware of the body, no doubt, but keep the mind focused, looking inside. So we covered the principle of Patanjali. And another beautiful principle, when any master says, move the mind inside, the reference is that you say goodbye to the sense perception, you goodbye to the mental perception, you are moving into the higher perception, where we see the reality face to face. The word inside is used pointing to the mind should go behind itself. Second step of this is being comfortable. Being comfortable. So you should never leave. You may leave me, you leave my meditation practice. Doesn't work. No matter. What you should not leave, the stage one, you should always include in any meditation taught by any master. And I can tell you, you will get the result. So the second step is being comfortable. So being comfortable also pointing to the mind is cheerful and the posture is relaxed. How we do it? Move the mind on the neck joint. Be there. Are you really there? You are performing an action now. When you're there, you feel the presence, you experience being comfortable, being, feeling the sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Move the mind on the shoulder joints. How fast the mind becomes aware of the shoulder joints also tells the story how you are progressing. It instantly returns there. You feel the sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Hip joint, sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. The entire body. In the stage 1, we also follow the step being carefree, doing nothing. So when you do nothing, now from the law of karma, understand those past impressions are not known by the mind, they remain unknown. Only its impact is known in the mind. And what is that impact? The thoughts and the feelings and the craziness of the mind and the anxiety and the duality and the conflict in the mind that they appear before they are translated into action in my daily life. So, what we are doing in this stage, we say carefree. Whatever is coming to the mind is not me. So, I gave a simile, metaphor, standing across the road watching the traffic, the influx of the mind. Let it come and go. Another way, looking into the sky, the birds are flying in the sky, but you are also aware of the sky, about the birds. Same way, the deeper mind is aware of the birds in terms of the thoughts and the feelings. Understand, my friend, that's a very important. So, being comfortable at the physical level. What is that? Sense perception. See that? Second, being carefree at the mental level, mental perception. And become aware. Can I move beyond these two? Is the fourth step of the stage 1, being casual, being natural. Whenever you are guided by these impressions in your mind, some kind of an anger reaction, do nothing. Just be casual. Look beyond. Be into the state of doing nothing. You'll find a tremendous awareness, and that will change the mind. Now, we will continue the second step as it is. I bring about some changes, but let us follow. What is the goal of the stage 2 is to purify the mind and to gain a natural focus. What we do in the step 1 of the stage 2, we look inside the chest. Just look inside the chest and start breathing short and quick breath with a state of cheerfulness of the mind. And check you are only performing an action, not worried about the changes in the experiences it happens. Otherwise, mind will say, stop it. Mind will say, do it. Mind will move the body. If that motivation is present, motivation is on performing an action, putting your 100%. Continue. Continue playful, cheerful. Mind, playful step. And stop it. Take a deep, silent, and slow inhalation. While exhaling, continue with a humming sound. Long, deep, and louder humming sound. Deep, silent, and slow inhalation, keeping your focus deep inside the forehead in the space to get rid of any motivation, the wrong motivation, the desire for the fruits of an action. You have started doing this. That is how we need to perform an action. So continue. Deep, long, louder humming and deep, silent, and slow inhalation. It takes time for you to inhale into the belly, into the chest. And if the mind starts chasing any thought coming from the past impression, return it on the breath. Continue. Long, deep, silent breath. And stop this humming. Continue with the deeper breath, and we will directly move into the nyasa in the stage 3. As you inhale, deep silence, slow moving the mind with the breath inside the right arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips, or from the fingertips to the shoulder. So, what you need to remember symbolically, mind is the driver, breath is your car, and looking inside is in the space is the highway. You drive in the midnight when there is no traffic. When the mind, so to say, struggles internally, of which we are not aware, to transcend itself, it has yet to transcend. One master says it is the dark night of the soul. Move the mind inside the left arm on the highway, because the mind doesn't want to leave what it knows. But as long as the mind does not leave what it knows, it cannot enter into that state of the mindfulness. So the dark night of the soul is broken by this nyasa practice. So you enter deeper with confidence, not with any reaction from the mind. We'll understand it deeply as we go deeper. Now inside the right leg, breath in the mind, moving together inside the right leg in the space. You see that many people say, no, I see the bones, flesh, and the blood. No, we are moving inside means going beyond the sense organ. So that solves the problem. And now inside the left leg, carried away by the unconscious inertia of the mind, made induce as if we are falling into sleep, and carried away the mind with triggering the impact of the past impression. We had a lot of influx of the thought. But if we continue the journey, we experience as if we are in a no man's land, moving the mind from the top of the crown of the head to the tailbone when you inhale, in the highway of the space inside, and when you exhale, the mind rises from the tailbone inside, reaching to the crown of the head. Our journey of meditation and mindfulness is totally free from any kind of hallucinations. Why? We all are together making a journey consciously. You know what I'm giving you, and you know what you are doing consciously without inviting any kind of imagination. Be very clear about it. Once you are clear, the journey, when once you have a right knowledge, practice is, and I'll leave that step. Allow the breath to be normal. When the breath goes in, Om Shanti. Breath comes out, Om Shanti. No change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath, but every time the breath goes in, Om Shanti, comes out, Om Shanti. Many people say, why Om Shanti? It has been practiced, but we use the symbolism with the right knowledge and the meaning. That you can do it. When the breath goes in, simply say Om, and the mind becomes aware of the crown of the head and the space within. When the breath comes out, Shanti. The moment the mind drops Shanti, you enter deep inside the heart, into the infinite space. Breath goes in Om, the crown of the head, Shanti, inside the heart, Om, Shanti. So that breath awareness goes into the background, and what comes? Om. Om is the highest symbol of the highest consciousness in us. Where it dwells, symbolically, crown of the head. When I feel I'm peaceful, I'm happy. Where from the peace springs inside the heart. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om. Every action has to be performed with the right knowledge, right desire, right motivation. That is what exactly we are also implementing the same principle here. Another stage 5, leave the Om Shanti. Breath mindfulness is also the same, similar step, same way. Three-pointed awareness of the breath. The breath goes in and comes out. You simply know it. Second thing to know, when the breath goes in and comes out, you feel the sensation of the breath. Third point, no change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Deeper inside the mind, you're conveying to the mind what you can exist. You can live with me. And you can discover the inner peace and the joy, even when you do nothing. The mind is highly obsessed with doing anything. Why? Obsession with the thoughts, from where the thought comes, from the past impression. Where lies the past impression? It belongs to law of karma. See, the masters gives us a clarity. So when the mind asks what I'm doing, now I'm looking at the breath, and breath is going in and out, feeling the sensation. There is no change, and ultimately the mind realizes I'm just aware, I'm not doing anything. That would happen when you perform your action daily. The goal is to purify the mind and get rid of that crazy eyedness. That leads to a variety of experiences as you go deeper. And do nothing, remain as you are. You were already doing nothing. And still, I give emphasis to the mind that is pure, that is withdrawn inside, to be into the state of doing nothing, to awaken to the higher consciousness and variety of experiences associated with it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes if your hands are clean, and bring your hands down. We'll share our experiences briefly before